we went in there, there's only 3 of us, sat down with his aide, it was supposed to be a 15-minute meeting, turned into about 45 plus minutes of discussion where he slowly came around to the idea, especially like what Shelley said, talking about the natural gas and the increase in natural gas in the future energy mix under a carbon tax system. Very receptive to that. We go to walk out, and then he grabs us as we're walking down the hall and says, "You want to meet with the senator?" We're like, "Yeah, sure, photo op, that sounds great." We sat down with Senator Bozeman for another 30 minutes and talked through it, and he was very receptive. He initially gave his little soapbox speech. This is what, I've supported. He speaks very softly. I supported wind and solar initiatives in Arkansas, so that's what I've done. So take that and what do you think?
Yeah. Speaking of solar, did you talk to them about this huge tariff the U.S. slapped on foreign solar panels?
Did not speak about that. No, didn't speak about that. But so we appreciated, we gave him appreciation for that, and then said, well, let's talk about the Grimm report. He was very interested in what the Grimm report showed, especially when we brought up agriculture. I made the statement. He was obviously of the opinion that we were just wanting to turn the lights off for right now. And I told him, look, we understand there's times that the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow. And he got a good kick out of that. He really enjoyed that. But at the end of the day, he said, yeah, we really want to look at this report. We were late to our meeting with Representative Griffin, so he put us on the underground tram with one of the aides and shot us across underneath the Capitol. So that was really cool. Got to Griffin's office, and we were supposed to meet with Representative Griffin. He was on the floor, so we were supposed to meet with his aide. His aide was gone doing something, so we met with his aide's aide, which was really disheartening. And then his aide's aide said, "You've got 15 minutes," which was really disheartening. We sat there and talked to him for a good 40 plus minutes, and afterwards, I sent a follow-up, not expecting anything, but the original aide to Representative Griffin emailed me back immediately and said, "We're really interested in what you have to say. Would you connect me with somebody?" It's not in the White House. Who is it? Who's the...
Lerner, or what was his name?
Representative, I forget. And so there's two bills out there right now for a carbon tax. One is by Senator White House and one is on the House side. Anyway, we wanted to
have the dividend in it.
They both have
dividends. There are 2 other bills. There's the McDermott bill and the Holland bill. Did they talk about that? Well, those are really new. I think the Holland was...
I don't think we talked about the Holland bill.
Well, I'll mention that later. But yeah. What 2 bills were we talking about?
Senator White House, he's got one that he's creating. I don't know if it's out right now or he's creating it. And then another one on the House side.
Well, there's McDermott. No, but there's another one who had a bill a couple of years ago.
Yeah, put that out, you're right.
And it seems like it's Lerner or something like that.
I can't remember the name either right now. It's terrible. But anyway, they literally asked me to get a connection for them and that Democratic congressman's office so that they could talk about this bill coming. First of all, I think that's an indication of how broken the system is, right? I don't have that connection, but all they did was call the office, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, sure, here, take this person." And so, send out the initial email, this is who I'm going to be connecting with, and then set up the connecting email, and, now in the process of just trying to follow up and see what's happened since then. But Tim Griffin's office actually has to be connected to talk more. And it's all being driven, it's not what we're doing, it's being driven by the Grimm report. There's not some magical formula that we're talking through. I mean, everybody in the meetings is fantastically knowledgeable. Nobody's interrupting anybody. We're all speaking to, the points of the righteous mind that I went over in here the other time. They're all extremely knowledgeable and not disagreeing with you, but thank you for that point, and here's something else to consider. And so we're preventing those walls from being put up. It's really fantastic. Anyways, at the end of the day, we were able to move. So we have a scale, CCL of A to D. D being, this is a member of Congress who had actually proposed or voted for a carbon fee, and A being, I would outright oppose it if it came to the floor, and we were able to move confidently Senator Bozeman from an A to a D at that point, because he did not outright say he would oppose it, and he said he'd have to look at the legislation and things like that, but he was very open and interested. I won't go into any more on that.
Yeah. Can I ask about the dividend here? Do they all think it would really happen, that there would really be a dividend and it wouldn't just vanish somehow? Sounds like they all supported the notion in the abstract.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, I don't think we really got into it that much with all of them. No one really asked specifically, and which is probably good because I've heard that there's that whole argument of, can you give 100% back versus 75%? And then I know in Bob Inglis's original proposal, his was a trade-off of income tax versus carbon tax, so just an offset, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Tax law.
Yeah, tax law, thank you. So there's different ways of doing it. They didn't really ask specifically, but they did agree that it was favorable over EPA regulations. They understood the concept that with EPA regulations, the cash goes out and is gone versus circulating it back into the economy. So they all agreed that it would potentially be a better option. I think, it's just now it's a mix of, is it a priority and some disbelief on whether or not it can actually function. So it's less, no, I don't want to do this, the science is wrong, and it's going to hurt the economy too. I'm not sure, your numbers seem sketchy, and I've got other things to worry about. So I think that's an improvement, though, overall.
On the dividend, I just have a lot of skepticism. Yeah, you said the government's gonna get it back to me, but they're not. They're gonna keep it, they're gonna waste it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's tons of skepticism
Yeah.
there. I didn't get into that discussion with them specifically, but I'm sure it's.
Well, this year, the big mover was the RINRA report. Last year, it was the BC carbon tax, and that's because it's been so successful. And they do a tax lock and a low income tax credit, and it's working very well in the money's going back. And people, it's such a popular tax at this point that they say that if they try to get rid of it, it will be ineffective tax increase.
Wow.
On people because so much money coming back, because as the dividend has risen, well, now it's stuck at 30 because for financial reasons, political reasons, but at $30 per ton. But it was right as it was rising, the tax, you kept getting more and more back as the tax charge, and that's how it would work here. More and more money would come back.
And I brought up British Columbia in the WOMAC meeting, and she immediately said, yeah, how big are they? Compared to nationwide one. And I said, I wasn't going to argue with her on it, right? I don't want to do that, but my response was, well, why not? What are the economics here that don't function that work just fine there? I don't understand that.
Well, Alaska has a dividend, that doesn't make it more likely the U.S. is going to have one.
We have the proof here, so we just, without her reading the report, I wasn't going to argue, the details on it, just let her discover it on the page. So.
Which is good CCO strategy.
Right, thank you. There's Alana for the capital, Alana's the other one who went with us, and this is being their vote. I was retired at that point, I think, kind of but, yeah.
He took a little more with him, I came up to his pocket.
Yeah. That's right. A real nice guy. I hope you don't mind me using this. I can skip it if you do. This is that blurb that he left from the email he sent out to you, Shelley. But
Oh, yeah, I wanted you to talk about that. That's good.
oh, okay, great. So
Read it.
So Senator Hogan sent an email to Shelley saying, I support incentives for clean energy production, including wind, solar, hydrogen fuel cell, and emission-free nuclear power technologies. I believe that any discussion of climate change and carbon emission reduction must be in the greater context of a comprehensive energy policy. We must also keep in mind that when American manufacturers are closed due to excessive regulations, those jobs are replaced by foreign corporations that often emit more carbon. As a member of the Senate Committee of Environment and Public Works and the Subcommittee of Green Jobs, I will keep your views in mind and support legislation that will benefit both the environment and the economy. Shelley sent this over to me once she received it because he sent it to her based on a response, something she sent out. And I love her initial response because we have to go meet with him now because this totally fits with CCL, right? There's nothing in this. Listen, I will support legislation that will benefit both the environment and the economy. We got it right here. And so I think, again, it's just a matter at this point of let's bring it to the forefront. Let's show that it has economic benefit and show that from an agricultural standpoint, from a health benefit standpoint, it's not something that we can keep on the back burner.
Not only that, regulations alone will impact the economy negatively.
we agree with him on this.
Yeah.
So, for this reason, you know, we really believe there's a lot of hope for the future, that this is something that's just going to continue to be a groundswell and grow and grow and grow. And at the end of the day, you know, it's like, Shelley, this is what's really going to make the difference. We can't rely on EPA regulations over the course of 50 years to gradually increase, you know, at the whim of left-leaning and right-leaning Congress and presidents. And, you know, it's just not going to work. It's only through something like this, as comprehensive as this, that it's really going to work out. So these are the sources that I sent to everybody. Bob English's TED Talk, the video I just showed earlier, who's with CCL, Colbert's, Sneedgard's scandal. Scott Nystrom, who presents the Ring Report, that's the one. That's, if you want to be knowledgeable in this report, check that out. It's fantastic. Tara Ritter on climate and agriculture, and then that picture I showed of Obama.
Who did you send them out to?
If you're on my email list for this group, then I send it in response to that, so everybody has it.
When did you send that?
Like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Before I started.
I don't want to miss that.
Yeah, and literally right before it started. So, that's it.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great.
So anybody who can support in any way monetarily or join next year, I promise you would not regret it. It's phenomenal.
It'd be nice if we had more than one person go to Arkansas.
I don't think.
Yeah, well, we did have, we had Patrick and Alana, but Alana didn't.
A lot of us in the process, yeah, Alana did return.
But she was, and she.
She's moving to DC.
And we're gonna continue to network with Alana, because she's doing research for an environmental group there, and she wants to stay in touch with us, she'll be back to visit her boyfriend, and she's good for 2 minutes. So I feel it was a good investment.
Good enough.
Cool, all right, thanks. We have to run.
See you Wednesday.
Yeah, I can scan this and get it over to you. You all want it?
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll send it out.
Bye. See you.
That's mine.
Oh, no, this is the.
That's good.
Oh, no.
Ron, you want me to go and switch you over?
If you don't mind.
Yeah, okay.
Well, while we're getting set for the Citizens First Congress, I just wanted to, Shelley and I, over the last week or so, have designed a button that we're going to have people wear when you go to the legislature or anywhere out in public. You don't have to. And we have with us now some postcards that we would like you to write and fill out, and we will mail them to the EPA director, asking specifically that the carbon fee and dividend be part of the Rule 111D process, and it be one of the options that states do have for their state implementation plan to reduce carbon. So this is just the beginning.
It's a cute card.
Thank you.
And I just got some excellent news. We have a new member in the DPL, Eric Chillier. And he is friends with Elizabeth Chastain, who's in the air quality division of the ADEQ. And he told me that he was saying that he wrote to Elizabeth Chastain and asked her about.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, see you.
She said she's totally in favor. So that we have now our
Yes,
I'll get about 10 minutes, Robert, before you go on. There's cider over there.
you want to take something to drink or eat?
Yeah, the cookies are on the table, but if anybody wants.
But Shelley, you want to come? And like I said, we'll fill it out today, we'll put the stamp on the mailman. We're going to have more information to send to ADEQ also. This is just the beginning. The process is 2 years at least. For the next year, the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality will start making a rule to reduce carbon in Arkansas. They'll submit this plan for their reduction to the EPA. Then over the next year, the EPA will review that and see if it's adequate. The earliest anything that could happen would be 2016. So we've got a lot of time to start influencing people to get a carbon tax. And we've got more of these little pens if anyone would like to have one. We would ask for a small contribution just to help us defray the cost. Shelley, you want to? after we, if you want to pin, see Shelley.
Okay.
All right? Okay.
Can we have the light on? Are you gonna be showing anything on the?
Yes.
Oh, you are, never mind.
Gladys, Shelley, myself, and David Garcia all attended the Arkansas Citizens First Congress this past June, the third weekend in June. And this was the largest CFC Congress convention since they started in 1998. And I want to show a short video to give you an idea about the work of the Robert, would you like some juice, some apple juice? Yes, thank you.
It's kind of big, Robert, can you make it smaller?
I'm trying to, Shelley.
Oh,
Shelley, you can juice.
It's at 125%.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that.
It's right down there.
Little arrow, no, arrow just that.
Yeah.
No,
It's
no,
right below that.
next to the number.
Where's this one? Ah, yeah,
That's
there.
right, that's it. That's it.
Where's the time?
there we go. 75. There we go.
Gotta give you the full screen button.
That's good.
Hit that full screen button in the lower right.
This is 79 years old, Shelley.
Okay, let's leave it.
I would describe Citizens First Congress as an empowering organization composed of grassroots organizations throughout the state that bring all of these groups together collectively to vote on
You're probably here.
the top priorities pertaining to all the groups. And so to me, every time that
Yeah.
there's a convening, there's such power in the room.
It's not good.
And it's really exciting.
It's the probably the single organization that exists in Arkansas that I'm most proud of. What is the glory of the
Yeah.
panel
Is it HD?
is that they
Lower resolution?
can mobilize
Yeah.
people from the grassroots in the legislature.
And legislators do listen, and because we are a small state, if they get 10 people on an issue, they're gonna make a difference. And the Citizens First Congress helps get those, well, I'm not gonna people calling it, sorry. Legislators. I don't know why.
Yeah, people watching, people trying to vote, actually.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, it was a really nice
It is
summer.
nice, very nice video, and Robert speaks really well in there too.
Thank you. But it just gives a good overview of the role of the Citizens First Congress and how important it has been in a lot of issues in Arkansas, whether it's civil rights, environment, education, government reform, the main priorities. The way that Citizens First Congress works, this is the program from the last session, is that delegates come from member organizations, and there are 55 member organizations that make up the Citizens First Congress. OMNI is one of those groups, and depending on the size of the organization, that's how many delegates you send. OMNI is one of the larger groups, so we have 4 delegates. And The groups range from the American Association of University Women to the Artistic Revolution group, which is a gay, lesbian, bisgender, and transsexual group. So it's a huge span of all sorts of groups coming together to work collaboratively. The primary force, or the way that Congress operates, it's composed of different caucuses. And there are 6 main caucuses. There's a Civil Rights Caucus, Environmental, Economic Development, Education, Environment, Government, and Public Health. In addition to those issue caucuses, there are meetings held around the state in Northwest Arkansas and South Arkansas, focusing on specific issues for those regions. But at the Congress, delegates come together and resolutions are drawn up for what issues member groups would like to see the Citizens First Congress support during the Arkansas legislative session every 2 years. And so issue caucuses meet. They meet periodically between the convention, which happens every 2 years, in even years before the odd number legislative session. At these caucuses, people begin to determine what issues they would like to see the legislature make laws about, whether it be civil rights or the environment and so forth. So all around the state, different groups meet, environment, education, and so forth. And they start usually with a huge number of issues and start whittling those down. The Citizen First Congress, which is part of the Arkansas Public Policy Panel, has a resolution form which must be completed, and this, one of the main ideas, the way that a resolution becomes part of the platform of the Congress is there a legislative solution, and is there a group that will actively take lead on the issue? Because they don't push any issue, they offer support through lobbying and other ways, but they will not take the lead on the issue. And so this time we decided, some of the people in OMNI 350 and the Citizens Climate Lobby, that we would like to push a carbon pollution reduction resolution. And here's another copy of it. And what we were trying is to start looking at the possibility of getting a carbon tax at the state level. So, and as we went through the issue caucus, we first met in last spring at the Heifer Ranch in near Perryville, Arkansas, and began discussion on what environmental issues we would focus on, and we brought a resolution forth about the carbon pollution reduction, and it became one of the top priorities in the environmental caucus. We garnered support there from a number of other organizations, the Sierra Club, the Arkansas Climate Advocates, the Arkansas Renewable Energy Association, Arkansas Interfaith Alliance, and the Sierra Club. So from that point, when the issues are brought forth from the caucus to the convention floor, debate begins. People have a limited amount of time to present their issue, and then people will lobby. It's a 2.5-day conference, and people will meet with other people to try to get support for the issue. And out of each of the major caucuses will come a number of resolutions to be discussed. At this year's conference, there were 34 resolutions out of the 6 caucuses. The Citizens First Congress only follows or supports 10 resolutions. 5 long-term resolutions, which they support for 6 years, and 5 short-term, which are 2 years. Complicating the whole process is that you have some long-term resolutions that are still held over from previous years. So actually, this time, there were only 3 spots for long-term resolutions on the agenda. But every resolution that comes forth from a caucus is placed on what is called a broad platform. And what this means is that the Citizens First Congress and the Public Policy Panel will pay attention to the matter during the legislative session. They have interns who look at every bill that's introduced in the House or Senate, and that can range from 3,000 to 4,000 bills. And so they have people going through those bills and see if they would impact one of our priorities or be on the broad platform, and then bring it to the Citizens First Congress Steering Committee's attention. All right, after the debate and issues are decided, people then vote, and in the caucus and so forth, you have a name tag, and when resolutions are brought forth from the convention floor to be put on the ballot, you use that to vote. And then on Sunday morning, you're giving 5 cards to vote for a long-term priority or then short-term priority, and it's ranking. You go around, each resolution has a box in front of it, and if you want it to go, your 5 is the most, so whichever has the most numbers at the end of the voting, that'll be the priorities. So at the convention this year, there were 10 priorities. The long-term priorities were opportunities to learn, which is education, broad education platform, support progressive solutions to balancing the state budget and fair taxes. And this is extremely important because during the past several legislative sessions, there's been a tremendous effort to reduce taxes, cut taxes without regard to how we're going to pick up, especially in education and Medicaid funding. Develop and advocate for a new state water plan. Adopt a statewide carbon pollution. That made it to the top 5 long-term priority, was carbon pollution and reduction initiative, which we were very happy about. Took some great lobbying on Shelley's part and a lot of other people.
Mark Robertson.
Yes. And then oppose all attempts at state level immigration reform, and oppose punitive and, anti-immigration legislation. So short term was inmate justice and judicial equality for mental patients, fair election reform, implementation of worker fairness and worker justice safeguards, create a civil and human rights commission, and finally advocate for the protection of property rights. And this is with eminent domain and with the gas lines that are being proposed from western Arkansas across the state.
Specifically the Diamond Line, which would be going right through the wildlife.
Right through what?
Right through the what is it,
On the Missouri border?
No, this is
No.
right before.
No, it goes right through the center of Arkansas, right through some really delicate areas that are the domain of the Fish and Wildlife Commission.
So, once those priorities are adopted, then it's the job of everybody in the Citizens First Congress and its member organizations to work with the legislature and participate in lobby days and so forth that are held during the legislative session. One of the things that every member organization agrees to